Hey, everybody, it's Alan. Hope you are doing well. I want to listen to a killer instrumental and I want to listen to Brian Setzer play it. So, we're going to listen to a live performance of a killer instrumental called Caravan. You know, I know many of us have known Brian Setzer and the Brian Setzer Orchestra or the Stray Cats for many, many, many a year, decades, in fact. There's a part of me that still somehow or another thinks he's an underappreciated, underrated guitar player. Yet he's spectacular. I mean, if you think about it, the man virtually single-handedly carries an entire genre in the sense of the rockabilly genre. It's not saying there aren't bands that do that rockabilly thing. You know, you got bands like Big Bad Voodoo Daddy and the Mighty Mighty Bosstones and Squirrel Nut Zippers who have a tinge or a taste of that, sort of rockabilly type of thing meets the big band thing meets, a couple of other little niche items in their particular styles, but nobody really fully encapsulates it and carries the torch for it as much as Brian Setzer does. And he's a stunning guitar player. I mean, my God, there are techniques. Granted, he takes a lot from players like, Chet Atkins and Eddie Cochran and others, Dwayne Eddy as well. But I mean, he really has become very much the standard bearer over the course of the last 25, 30 years for this entire genre. And it's just, he's a spectacular talent. Really, really impressive guitar player. And I can honestly say I'm fortunate enough to have been able to actually touch his main 59 Gretsch 6120. I got to work a show. It was a Brian Setzer Orchestra concert and Gretsch Guitars had set up a guitar booth in the venue, and I had to, man the booth. So I didn't really get to see the show, but I got to be at the show. And before the show started, I had to go through the artist gate, the musician's gate, to get in and bring the guitars in, set them up, so on and so forth. And I had a little bit of time backstage, and I was allowed to, not by Brian. I have never met Brian, but I met members of the crew, and I was allowed to just touch. Did not pick it up, did not play it, but I actually did touch the headstock of his main 59 Gretsch. And again, I know it's not really that special of a moment, but I mean, imagine if you had had the opportunity to, touch Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstein, the original one, or the black and white, when it was black and white. Or imagine if you had had the opportunity to touch Jimmy Page's 59 Les Paul from the Song Remains the Same concert. I've been fortunate enough to touch, and in some instances even play, many a famous guitar, including Blackie, including the Edge's 74 White Les Paul Custom, and Stevie Ray Vaughan's Lenny Strat, and Eric Clapton's 335 Crossroads guitar. And I've gotten to touch and play a little bit on a few of Joe Bonamassa's 59 bursts, including the one he calls Lazarus. Again, I've been fortunate enough in what I do for a living. And but I can actually say that, yes, I actually also got to touch Brian Setzer's guitar, and it wasn't through work. It was actually backstage at the show. So just a side note. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. Please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. We can talk about it further. Just know that I appreciate you all, and I wish you well. Take care.